All right, what we're going to do is remake one of the songs that my subscriber sent to me. If anybody wants me to do this with one of their tracks, in my Discord server, there's actually a description. You can go about that. Kevin Hoang, if you look him up on SoundCloud, it is Ikusa. It's Ikusa. If you are interested in listening to more music from this person, I would go check him out there. This is what we're starting out with. I do feel like, honestly, a lot of the vibe that I would want to go for normally is already here. It's already kind of nailed that like Hotel Apache vibe. If I were to try to recreate that sort of really clean, modern version of like 1975 style stuff, I feel like there would be very little that I would do different from what this is doing. I almost want to genre flip it. Like that's my first inclination. Let's just mess around with some synths. Some ignition keys, maybe. More of an interesting vibe. Actual producer advice: if you can record something without using the sustain pedal, just because normally when you use a sustain pedal you overlap yourself. Basically, you want to get out of using the sustain pedal as much as you can, unless it's like for piano or something really specific that requires it, because what you tend to run into a lot of is recording something with the sustain pedal and then like a MIDI clip like not capturing you lifting your foot up, and you just get this held out note after every single thing you play, and it just gets really annoying. Not bad. All right, now let's get some kind of pattern going with this guy. It sounds so bad before quantizing. Now let's get some kind of issues style slap thing going. What kind of bass tone? Yeah, let me record something really simple from a bass rhythm standpoint, and then I'll make it more complex later. That's how you get slap bass stuff to sound good. You always use like the dead pop and the dead slap sounds to just sort of beef it up. Just get something really weird and mangly going in the background. Let's do something cleaner. Yeah, I feel like anything that's like super bright and plucky, it's not in like the same range as a vocal. So like it's mainly high end. Any kind of mid range that normally keeps a vocal from popping out, I feel like plucks are really good for getting out of the way. I might just get rid of some of these guys, because I think right now what's throwing me off is the way that everything is kind of like filled up. So in order to get a little bit more movement, I need to cut out some of that playing and leave a little bit more open space. Yeah, like instantly that feels better. Now we're going to just do a Corey Wong where we just retrack everything like 15 times over. I used to use ambient stuff all the time as like a crutch of like filling in things with really long reverbs, and now I'm in a stage where I'm just taking things that have really long reverb and I'm just chopping them or rendering them down. One of my go-tos is to just throw it into simpler. A little bit of pan flow. Actually, I'm not hating that one. If you want to get stuff to just instantly be a cooler percussion loop, just take whatever you have and just throw on some kind of sidechain plugin like Kickstart. It will always make it more interesting and less boring. Just taking a loop that you have that is like really long, like this, and then just start chopping stuff up so that there's like a dead space and then it pops in. Yeah, I honestly, I prefer Kickstart over One Knob. With One Knob, all you get is the ability to control how much sidechain of the effect that you have, the rate, and like your offset. Like those are basically the only things that you can control. But with Kickstart, you actually have like different forms of sidechain that you can choose. You can adjust where you want the exact placement to be. You can also sidechain stuff to this using MIDI or audio, so you can have it trigger this sidechain based off of like a kick drum and not just have it be completely linked to the track BPM. You can also use like the band function to have it focus solely on like the low end of a loop that you're sending into it. So there's just so many more options with this that you don't get when you're using One Knob. Let's get a piano going. Now let's think about what a B section of this would look like. Let's get a little bit of transit on the master. I haven't messed around with transit that much, but the little bit that I have, I agree with a lot of people's sentiments of, man, it saves so much time. Yeah, and then we mix that with like a tape stop. That could be pretty cool. I have not tried Stitch before. All right, so it looks like it is a little bit more of like a transition thing. Yeah, I like that. And then one that Johnny turned me on to a long time ago was Instead of Hats. That's like a great one to get a little bit more variation. Most of the time when I'm using Arcade, I just grab stuff and then I'll just duplicate the whole thing and then move one note over and see if that's something else I'd also like to add. That's cool. Grab all these guys, freeze them. Let's try transit again on this guy. Yeah, that's a cool transition. Ladder, filter. Let's use a little bit of sketch cassette on that guy. So far, I've been using Sketch Cassette instead of like a lo-fi plugin or an RC20 replacement. I've just been using it as like a really nasty distortion. And then let's get a little bit of low-end enhancement on this guy. Basement has actually been really fun to use as of late. The super fat bass preset. Adjust the strength a little bit, and normally that's all a low-end source will need, like a bass to just pop out of a mix a little bit more. I might do like one more arcade loop that's just like a kick and a snare, like a halftime thing just to lead into that section. Here's what it sounded like just all on its own. And then we added a little bit of a ladder filter, some EQ, a 16th delay with some feedback on it, and then throwing it into a ROM reverb, and then throwing it into a little bit of a gated reverb. This is a thing that's weird, but like if you want your main chorus drums to hit harder, a way to make them hit harder is to actually go to every other section and make your drums hit a little bit less. So we're going to go to this kick and just high pass it a little bit. We're going to try to get more of like the mid-range knock out of it than the actual low end. So now when we go into the bigger section, All right, I think we're gonna just call that good, just as a real quick reference. This is the vibe that we started out with. And here is what I did to completely genre flip that. Yeah, that is the stream. Thank you for everybody who came through. And yeah, I will see you guys next week.